Salacia, no. I put some challenge questions near the end. They'll be harder than the average SAT questions, but most of them are not. Well, most of them will be this easy, I guess. However, there's always going to be a couple of questions that are just harder than the rest.
So for like the first question, you said, I mean, for the second question, you said like the y-intercept should be on the y-axis, right? But like this one's on the x-axis, and so was like the one on the right on the second question. It was also on the x-axis.
What do you mean?
So like we were supposed to figure out like the b value, like y equals mx plus b, the y-intercept, right?
Yep.
So what for like this one, why would it be like on the x-intercept? Like
So what, as I said before, so what you're trying to find here is not the line itself, the equation of the line. You're supposed to find the equation of the line that is perpendicular to it. And so the thing is, it doesn't matter what the y-intercept is for the perpendicular line. All that really matters is the slope is the negative reciprocal of it, the negative reciprocal of this line. And the slope of this line is -2. Therefore, the negative reciprocal of it is 1/2. And the only answer that has 1/2 as a slope is C.
Yep. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you.
SD.
Sorry, that was a mistake.
Could you guys lower your hands after your yeah. So any questions on number 2? Meghana?
So the answer is D, right?
Yep.
Okay.
You want to explain one more time?
Does anyone need another explanation, or should I go? Should I continue? Just raise your hand if you want another explanation. No? All right. So linear inequalities. So this and systems of linear inequalities are probably the hardest part of algebra questions in the SAT, simply because of the nature of them. The steps for solving linear inequalities are mostly the same for solving linear equations. But for linear inequalities, we do have to pay attention to the direction of these inequality signs and whether they're equal to as well as like less than or greater than. These questions typically appear towards the end of the multiple choice section and grid-ins in each section. So you'll mostly find them near the higher number of questions and the grid-ins. And for these types of questions, you're typically asked to do, you're given a linear inequality and you're asked to find values that satisfy it or don't satisfy it. So there's, for word problems, there's these phrases which can equal to different things in our equation. I'll give you guys a minute to just look at them. Also, the person who asked, what do you mean hard, as in covers advanced topics or more application-based? So this depends. Sometimes you'll get just like harder questions in general, or the wording of the problem will be really weird and you just don't know what to do with them. I don't really know entirely how to explain how some of them will be harder, but just know, like, you will see one of these at the end of this one. I mean, there's 2 or 3 of the really hard ones in this I guess, lecture. You will see why I said them at the end. All right. Here's another practice problem. Oh, sorry, I forgot to change that to problem number 1. I'll give you guys a minute to do this. Yeah. All right. So for this question, it isn't hard as a whole, but what you do need to pay attention to is the word not here. Like there, 3 of these answers are going to be a solution and one of them is not going to be. So you can just solve this out by, I guess, putting like variables together. So you subtract 3x here and you add 3. So you get -2 greater than equal to x. And therefore, you know that x has to be less than or equal to -2. And only one thing, the only answer that doesn't satisfy that is A. Also, you could plug these numbers in for harder questions. You can just plug the numbers in and check what works and what doesn't work. But I guess solving it is sometimes easier than just plugging in numbers because that just takes longer. Any questions? No? All right. All right, so this is a bit harder question. I'll give you guys around 2 minutes to do this one. To the person who asked if the inequality sign should change if you are subtract or divide by a negative number, it's only if you divide. If you subtract, it doesn't do anything to the sign. But if you do divide by a negative number, then you will change the sign. Also, apparently I made a mistake here. This is not a linear inequalities practice problem. It's just a normal linear equation practice problem, but it's just a harder version of it. So I guess it's still okay. All right, I guess I'll solve this now. So first, what we can tell is there's a function of which, I guess, value to time. So you have v, oh my God, I can't spell v. V equals to 3240 minus k of t. T is time, k is the constant rate where it decreases at. So we know that at t of 12, the value is 0. Therefore, we can plug in 12 to t. V equals to 3240 minus k times 12. And then we solve for k. So v is 0, right? Yeah, I forgot to write that. V is 0. So you solve for k. So 32400 minus k times 12. If you solve it out, you should get around. You should get k is 2,700. If you guys want me to like do the math, I can do it, but that's what you should get. And since we have our equation, which transfers over to v equals to 3240 minus 2,700 times t. If you just plug in 4 to t, into t, you should get 2,1600, which is the answer. So C. Okay, so to the person who was asking how did I get the equation? So one sec. So you're given that it starts out at $32,400, and you know that it's decreasing at a constant rate. So the minus kt comes into play because it's decreasing at a constant rate, and you have your original value. Then you know at 12 at t equals to 12, your value is 0 because it says right here. One sec. It says right here. Oops. Says right here that at 12 years it'll have no monetary value. Therefore, you could set the t equals to 12 and v equals to 0 as the problem states, and you just do the math and you get k equals to 2,700, and then from there you just plug in. So for the k and t, those are just variables. Since it decreases at a constant rate every year, it's going to decrease at the same rate. So you can multiply it, and that will give you the function for the decreasing rate, I guess. So the v stands for value. It's the value at whatever years it has been since the start. Okay, so someone asked me to do the math. I guess I can do it. 1 second. All right, I'm gonna clear this out. So we have our equation v equals to 32k400. So yeah, so v equals to 32. No, it's 0 equals to 32k400 minus k times 12. So first you subtract 32,400. So you get negative 32,400 equals to negative k times 12. Then you divide by negative 12. And you should get 2,700. Anyone have questions? Just raise your hand. Lick it.
So if it's 2700, then wouldn't it be negative 27,000? Because
Yeah, no, it is negative because okay, so remember, we're trying to find k, and k in and of itself is not, I guess, negative. Like you just have the negative sign outside of k. So what we're trying to find right now is just k itself, and that is 2,700.
okay.
So for the person who's asking why did I divide by negative 12 instead of just 12, it says look right here, there's a negative sign right here. In this equation, there's still a negative sign here that we didn't put over on the other side beforehand. So you divide by negative 12. And the 4 years is used for you put in t equals to 4 because that's what it's asking here. The 4 years goes in instead of t after you find what k is. Oops. All right. Any other question? Oh, yes. Siddhartha?
Yeah. Hi. I had a real quick question. Couldn't you just take the 32,400, divide that by 12, and just times that by 8?
I mean,
faster.
I mean, isn't it just easier just to put the 32,400 on the opposite side and just divide by negative 12? Instead of doing 2 multiplications or 1 multiplication and division.
I mean, yeah, but isn't it faster to do it this way?
Not really. I mean, dividing by what, 12 and then multiplying by 8?
Yeah.
Why would you multiply by 8?
Because if you divide it by 12, that gives you what, 1 year, like how much it's going down 1 year. And if you multiply by 8, because that's like all the way at the year last year before it's like all the way at 0, multiply 8 gets you back to the 8 years before it gets to 0.
I mean, I guess, yeah, you could, but I guess it's like a simpler version of it where you actually have stuff that you can plug in instead of just straight up going for divide by 12 and multiply by 8. But yeah, that works.
Thank you.
Veda Varshini.
So once we find 2,700, do we just like plug it into 32k400 times 2,700?
You don't multiply by 2,700. What you do is, since you know the original equation is v equals to 32,400 minus k times t. And since you know what k is, that's what we just found here. So you have v equals to 32,400 400 minus 2700 times t. And then you can just plug 4 in, and that should, it should all, I guess, add up or subtract up to 21,600.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
All right, so to the person who's asking what happens after I plug in 4, it's just you multiply 2700 by 4 times 4. So 0, 0, 2, 8, 10. You get 10,800. So you subtract 32,400 minus 10,800, and you get 21,600. Honestly, I don't feel like you need a calculator, but I guess you could. Let me just check where I got it. It's not calculator. Yeah, this is not a calculator question. Could you lower your hand after if you don't have a question? Oh, you still have a question. All right. Veda Varshini. All right. Any other questions? No? All right. I guess we can continue. So systems of linear equations. A system of linear equations is just like a linear equation, a system of linear equations. Wait, I didn't mean linear equations. A system of systems of linear inequalities is just like a system of linear equations, except it's comprised of inequalities instead of just normal equations. The systems of inequalities can be solved just like systems of equations, but with like 3 important caveats. You can only use the elimination method, not the substitution method, since you're solving for a range of numbers instead of just like one number. And to combine inequalities, the inequality signs have to be pointed in the same direction. So you can't do an inequality, you can't combine an inequality where one is greater than the other one's less than. And when you're combining inequalities, you should probably always just add and not subtract, because subtraction is like multiplying a -1, and you have to flip your signs, and you have negative terms as well, and that's just more work that you don't want to do. So here's a practice problem. I'll give you guys a minute to do this as well. All right, I'll solve this question, I guess, now. So what you do for this question is you can just start plugging in zeros for x and y, since that is the solution to this equation. So you get 0 is less than 0 plus a, which is just 0 is less than a. And if you plug in 0 for the other equation, you get 0 is greater than 0 plus b, which is just 0. 0 is greater than b. And because a is greater than 0, you know a is positive. And since 0 is greater than b, b is negative. And from that, you can tell that a is greater than b. Any questions? Nope. All right. Here's another question. I guess this is also relatively harder than with the previous one, but this is around what the hardest questions. And no, I wouldn't say that. It's an SAT question. Thiksha?
Sorry, what was the answer to the last question?
That was A, I believe.
Okay.
Okay, so the person who asked, can I explain the previous one again? So this is a really quick explanation. So basically, since you know 0, 0 is a solution to the equation, you take out y, you take out x, you make them zeros on both of them. And since you know 0 is less than A has to be positive. And since you know 0 is greater than B has to be negative. And since A is positive and B is negative, A has to be bigger than B. Is that okay, or should I explain it more deeply? Veda Varshini?
Could you also just like plug in, like combine those two, and then you still get A is greater and then B is less, and then you're equal to A is greater than B?
I mean, I guess I'm not entirely sure. See, this is why I said don't do equations where you have like two different signs, I guess. Isn't it just easier just to plug in zeros and then 0 on both of them? Because it's
But,
just 0.
yeah, I'm saying after you do that, you just get.
I mean,
A
yeah, you can just say, you can just like put them together. Yep.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, we'll go to the next question since, oh, can you lower your hand after you're done asking a question?
Maybe Tiksha has still another question.
Oh. Thiksha? Okay, no question. I'll give you guys a minute or two to do this one as well. And then I'll do it for you guys.
I think Sanjay has a question.
Sanjay?
I missed last class. Do you know when you will like send the third recording of the class?
Here, I'll send you the link for the recordings.
Okay.
Yeah, third one is not available. We will get
oh,
it sorted out soon.
okay.
Yeah, that set up soon. You don't.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh wait, that's the wrong one. That's the presentation link. 1 second. Oh, I can't copy that. It's fine, whatever. Present. Oh, that isn't working. Dad, could you put the link for it since Zoom isn't letting me copy it from the chat?
Yeah, the slides link as I had put it. Recording is not available. We'll get it done. Continue.
All right, I guess that's enough time for people to answer this question. So I guess we'll get started. So first thing I noticed in here is you have a 50,000 policy and 100,000 policy. So you have two variables at least, one which is 50,000, so I'll just say 50,000 X, and you have 100,000 Y. And he wanted to sell at least 57 of them. So you have X plus Y. Okay, so you wanted to sell at least 57 of them, so it's greater than 57. But at the end, it says he didn't meet his goal, so it's going to be less than that. So you have one of the equations down, and with this, you can immediately just take out this. Or wait, no, you don't take out this. You don't take out A. You take out B, and you take out D. A is still a valid answer. And now we also know that he sold over $3 million. So you have 50,000 X plus 100,000 Y. Did I write enough zeros? Yes. Is greater than 3 mil. No. And the only one that has greater than between the two, this has less than here. That has less than, and this is greater than. So C is the right answer. So to the person who was asked, couldn't X and Y be greater than 57? It can't, since it says he didn't meet his goal here. It says he didn't meet his goal. And that's why I originally put it is greater than, but then I changed it to it's less than. Because look, it asked what did he sell last month? So it's not what did he want to sell, it is what he did sell. And he didn't meet the goal of selling 57 insurance policies, but he did sell over $3 million. Therefore, C is the only right answer. And B is wrong simply because of what I've just said. X plus Y can't be over 57 since he didn't do it. Any other questions? No? All right. So this was a relatively short, I guess, lecture simply because we did these questions, but with normal equations last class, and there's nothing to expand on other than the fact that inequalities have they don't have equal signs, but they have different signs versus just normal equations. Any questions about like anything from last class even, or just stuff from this class so far? Class isn't done yet. We have practice problems after, but just normal questions. No? All right.
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is not regarding about like the questions, but like so for like the Princeton review, if we were to do it, is there like a website to it, or is it a book?
There's the Princeton Review book. I'm pretty sure Princeton Review also offers, I guess, websites with like questions on them. I'm not entirely sure. I know a lot of online websites have like blogs, which they talk about SAT subjects. I'm not entirely sure Princeton does it. Princeton Review does it, but like you have to search up online. But there is a book version of it.
Okay, thank you.
SD.
Hi, I actually had a question about the second question, I think it was.
We'll go back. So that should be this one, right?
Yes, this one. Could you explain how you got D as the answer?
All right. So what you can tell immediately, you have the -5 as your y-intercept. So you take out A and C immediately, simply because they don't have -5 as their y-intercept. And you know the slope is 2, therefore the line has to go up. And this line goes down, therefore D is the only answer.
Okay, so you have to take out -5 because -5 can't be the y intercept, or?
No. So -5 is the y-intercept. And these two, the A and C don't have -5 as their y-intercept.
Mm-hmm.
Them out. And then D doesn't have a positive slope, which the 2 says. So C doesn't have a positive slope. What am I saying? B doesn't have a positive slope that D has. Since 2 is positive, therefore slope must go up.
Oh, okay, thank you. I was just a little bit confused because I saw the -5 on the x-axis and then I saw how A crossed that. That was my bad.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thank you.
Pardu?
Where do you get your problems? Like, where are you getting all these problems from?
Online, and some of them are from my book. I didn't get any of them from my book this time, but
Okay,
some are from online.
like what kind of websites?
So for reading, I recommend Crack SAT they have a lot of reading tests. For math, it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of different websites. No website I could find has a bunch of questions.
Oh, okay. But you told us that you use Khan Academy, right?
Yeah. I do use Khan Academy questions. I forgot about that just now. Khan Academy does have questions about every single one of these types. I recommend doing level 4 questions on Khan Academy simply because that helps you the most.
Okay. Okay, thanks.
Sahiti.
Hi. I wasn't here last meeting, but what did y'all go over?
We went over. Oh, whoever's mic is on. Mute yourself. All right, so we went over linear equations, just normal linear equations, not with graphing, and we just went over the word problems as well.
Okay, thank you.
Is that last class, Akash?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
We'll get you the recording, Sahiti, if whoever missed last class, right? Just like I think we could not upload it in time. We'll get it.
okay, so the person who asked if you're required to show your work, no, you aren't required to show your work on any of the problems, simply because the SAT doesn't look at the test packet after you turn it in. They just take the test packet, so no one just like spreads the answers outside. But like the only thing that they look at is the bubble sheet and the fill in the blanks. Not fill in the blank. It's I guess like fill in. It's still bubbling, but like you have to write your own answer. Yeah, last class was reading. I said that wrong. I was talking about the previous math class, but last class was reading, and we just went over a general overview of the reading section, and we did, I guess, the practice passage. Thanks for the person who reminded me about that. Also, could you lower your hand if you don't have a question?
Saidi, still you have a question?
Yes, I'm gonna assume yeah. No? All right. Okay. Here's the first question, I guess, for the person who asked. All right. There is a link to the slides. If you just go up, you can look at the slides yourself. If you do, just need to look at them. All right. Any other questions? Just general questions? We can get to the practice problems if you guys don't have any. All right. So I'll give you guys a minute to do this one, and then I'll do it myself. All right, I'll give you guys 30 more seconds. All right, I'll do this problem now. So for this question, what you do is you straight up just eliminate. Why isn't this working? All right, you straight up just eliminate A and D because the y-intercept is at 3 and not 2. And then from there, you just do slope, which is rise over run. And if you go down 3, 1, 2, 3, and you go over 2, therefore it's -3/2 since the slope is going down. The answer is B. Any questions? No? All right. Right. I think that's the next question. Yep. I'll give you guys a minute to do this one as well. All right. Guess I'll do this now. So first of all, what we do know is P is the maximum amount of people that the restaurant can hold. and that there's only a certain amount of people per thing. So, okay, no, I said that wrong. So P is the amount of people that the restaurant can hold after S tables and T tables are filled. S small tables and T large tables are filled. Therefore, P can't be greater than the amount that how many ever T and how many ever S tables have. So straight up, you can just take out A. You can take out A because, as I just said, P can't be greater than whatever T and S add up to. It still can't be greater than that. So you take out this as well. And we do know that it's the max amount of people. So it could be everything less than or equal to. So the only answer that has that is B. So the person was like, why can't it be greater than? Because P, the way it's phrased is you have S tables, which fill a certain amount of people, and you have T tables, which have a certain amount of people. There's T large tables, so T, whatever amount of large tables filled with people, and whatever amount of small tables filled with people. And P can only be equal to P can only be less than or equal to whatever this is, like A, and B. Because, like, just think about it. This is a logical question. If you can have more people than the amount of tables that can hold. Yeah, maximum. Yep. So any questions about this one? No? All right, we'll continue. Right, this is, I guess, another relatively harder one. I'll give you guys 1 to 2 minutes to do this one as well. So the person who wanted to get my work for it, I don't think he'll can save. I'll write it out really quick again. 1 second. So the answer is B. So the work for this is there's no real work. What we can tell is it's the max amount of people. So this is immediately wrong. Therefore, A is wrong, and so is D because, or no, wait, not D. Undo. C. And so is C. And since it says up to, which also means including, D can't be, right? Because it doesn't have the equal to as well. There's no real work for this question. It's just you have to read the problem and, I guess, put it into an equation. All right, I'll go back to this one.
Okay, hold for a minute. Let everyone read the question.
I'll answer this in another 30 seconds. All right, so 1 sec. I'll give you guys another 10 seconds. All right, I'll just do this. So for this question, we know we need at least 10 people. So how many of us there's 2 types of staff, junior directors and senior directors. You have 2 variables, X and Y, and you need to know, she needs at least 10 staff members. So X plus Y has to be greater than or equal to 10. And also, you also know that she must hire at least 3 junior directors. Therefore, X, which is our junior directors, has to be greater than or equal to 3. And we need at least 1 senior director. Therefore, Y also has to be greater than or equal to 1. Therefore, Y has to be greater than or equal to 1. And I guess from that, okay, so with that, you can cancel out C and you can cancel out D. And you have junior directors paid $640 a week, X, plus 880 per senior directors, Y, has to be is going to be less than 7,900 because she can't pay any more any more than 9,700, and the only answer that matches with that is equal to here is B. Anyone have any questions? No? All right. I'll give you guys a minute to do this one as well. Give you guys another minute to do. Second, sorry about that. Right. So for this question, so what we know is, let me just get the drawing symbol. 1 second. So the answer to the previous question was B. 1 second. I'm trying to get one more thing up there. All right. So with this, we first know that he earned $8 for 10 hours. And he earned at least $80 this week. And so basically, and then he's earning $10 per every hour after that. So you have 80 plus 10H. And you save 90% of that. So you have 0.9 times all of this is whatever he saves per week. So with that, you just solve for H. Well, it has to be greater than or equal to 270 because that's what he wants to save at least. So you have 90%, which translates to this. You have $10 per hour after the first 80. And now you just have to solve for H. So what you do is, I guess you divide by 0.9. So 280 plus 10H over 270.9 is, I believe, so 80 plus 10H greater than 300, because that's what 270 over 0.9 is. And there you just subtract 80, so 10H is greater than or equal to 220. You divide by 10. You have H is greater than or equal to 22. And that answer for that is C. Because we want the least amount. And 22 is the least amount of H that satisfies the problem. Any questions? Your name is Zoom user, so I don't entirely know who that is, but I unmuted you.
What is a way we can check our work? Like, I did a different way, and I didn't really get this exact answer, but I I used process of elimination because the other two were really high. So I did it like that, but how could we check our work with the problem to make sure it's right?
I guess like for this problem, I mean, you're still gonna have to make this equation because that's what the equation is. And I guess you could just start plugging in numbers instead of solving it out and check what works.
Okay.
And just like check which is the whatever the least number that works is. So I would say you start
Okay.
with 16, then you do 22, and then go up.
So would it be easier to solve for it at times, or would it be easier to plug it in, or does it depend on like the problem?
Depends on the problem. Some questions it's just
Okay.
easier to factor it out. Other questions it's just easier to plug it in, especially if you have if it's a calculator question.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
Okay, so the person who asked why would I multiply by 0.9? So the 0.9 is because he saves 90% of the earnings per week. So you have your first 80 because he works for 10 hours and you have 80, right? And then he has for every hour after that, he gets $10. So 10 hours, 10 times an hour. But then he saves 90% of that. 90% is 0.9. And then he wants to save at least 270 hours. So you want greater than or equals to because that is at least 270. And then now you just divide by 0.9. And that should be 80 plus 10h is greater than or equal to 300 because that's what 270 over 0.9 is. And then you subtract 80 from both sides. You have 10h is greater than or equal to 220. You just divide by 10. And you have h is greater than or equal to 22. And you want the least amount, and the least amount for this that satisfies this is 22. Therefore, C. Kalyan, I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong.
So wait, is this a calculator problem or is it a not calculator problem?
I believe this is no calc.
Okay.
All right. Anyone else have any questions? Also, could you lower your hand after you're done asking a question? Yeah, thanks. Veda Varshini.
Can you still use a calculator on the non-calculator questions?
What?
Can you still use a calculator on the non-calculator question?
No, it says not non-calculator for a reason. But like on the SAT, the only time you can use a calculator is on the calculator section. For the ACT, however, you can use a calculator for all of math. But that's just, I guess, but the questions at ACT tests are also a little bit more diverse, I guess.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Could you lower your hand after? Thanks. Sai?
Can you explain this problem again? I didn't understand it.
Okay, so I'll erase this all and redo this. But here, hopefully I draw it a little bit neater this time. So you know that he has at least 80 hours, right? Because you have 8 times 10, so 80. And then he gets $10 for every hour after that. So then you, because $10 because of this for the rest of the week, so he gets 10, and then he saves 90% of it. So you multiply this entire thing by 0.9 because that's what 90% is. 90% of this is what he saves, and he wants it to be at least $270, preferably more. Now you just have to solve for h, I guess. Divide by 0.9, and you get 80 plus 10h greater than equal to 270 over 0.9, and that roughly equals to 300. I think it equals to 300. It's not roughly anymore. 80 plus 10h is greater than or equal to 300. You subtract 80 from both sides, and you get 10h is greater than or equal to 220, and you just 10h, and then you just divide by 10. 1 second, I'm going to move this. Ooh, what happened there? All right, you divide by 10 here, and you get h is greater than or equal to 22, and you want the least amount, and the least amount for this is 22. Therefore, C is the right answer. Is that it? All right. Pardu?
So this is like a general question. So
Mhm.
like on the SAT, will there be like any science questions, not just math? Because
Okay, so for SAT, there is a science paragraph in the reading section, but isn't really like full-on science. The ACT has a science section is in an entirety of it, but like the only science in the SAT, other than like maybe some references to it, is going to be one reading paragraph. One reading.
so that's like a reading comprehension for science.
Yeah.
Oh, so they didn't do like anything about chemistry or anything, right?
No. I mean, the ACT doesn't have it either. ACT is also reading comprehension, but it has a little more sciencey stuff in it.
So you shouldn't worry about the science part then. Just reading and math.
Yeah, you just reading and math basically, and writing. Grammar.
Yeah, writing. Grammar and everything, right?
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
SD.
Hi, so I actually had a question about like the questions in the math section in general. Are they gonna have like things that involve like decimal and fraction multiplication on the non-calc section?
I mean, depends. Like this is a non-calc section. You're multiplying by 0.9, but like that isn't really tough. Like, so what's gonna be in the non-calc section is like relatively easy stuff like this, like 0.9 over 270. You're just taking 1/9 of 270 and just adding to 270 there.
Okay, so there's gonna be nothing like multiplying like 0.83276 times like blah 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 or something.
No, and if you do end up somehow doing that in the non-calc section, then you're doing something wrong.
All right, okay, thank you.
Yep. So for the person who asked, is the ACT or SAT more complex? So the thing with the SAT is it has less topics, but they go deeper into them. So you have harder questions of a topic. But for the ACT, they have more topics, but they're like, I guess, not easier, but easier. So for science, there's like in the curriculum itself, like I put it instead of I guess reading, I put it later down in the course. So for the person who asks, like, how do I divide 0.9 out of 270 without using a calculator? So basically what dividing by 0.9 or 0.8 or whatever it does is you take a tenth of this. So when you're dividing by any fraction, any decimal that's like lower than 1, you have, say, 270. Oh, that is not what I wanted to do. So you have 270. You have 270 over like, say, 0.8, right? So what you do is you take 2/10 of 270, which in this case is 60, and you just add it to 270. You're taking whatever this is. So 0.8 is basically 8 over 10th. And you're taking whatever it takes to add up the remaining to make it 1. And you're multiplying that by 270. You're getting that value. And then you're adding it to the original number. Did that explain it? Or you want me to explain it more? Okay, you're still a little bit confused. So here, I'll just delete this and here, I'll write it, I guess, in a better space. So yeah, say you have 270 and you have 0.8. So you know 0.8 is 8 over 10 because 8 over 10 is 0.8. I don't know how else to say it, but, and you know you have to add 2/10 to it to get a 1, to get 1. So you multiply 2/10 times 270 to get 60 in this case, and you add 60 to 270. I'm not entirely sure how else to explain it, but that's just how I do it. Sorry about that. I mean,
I can explain it in a different way if you would like.
Sure, I guess.
Yeah, so 270 and then over 0.8, but then we can multiply it by 10 to get 8, and then in the numerator it becomes 2,700.
Yeah, and you can do that way too.
Yeah, but if we, instead of 8, let's just keep it as 9 because it's easier.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, we can just simplify this to be 300. That's it.
And you divide by 10 again.
No, because like we just
multiply
the value by 10, so that's it.
All right. I mean, yeah, for the person who said they distributed, if you get the same answer, then it works. It works for you, then it works for you. That's just how I do it, and how the other person suggested as well. That's another way of doing it. Roshan?
Oh, that is it. I just wanted to clarify that.
All right. So Veda Varshini. So like you don't add 270, 260. In this case, it's just 30 because we're going for 90% and not 0.9 instead of 0.8. All right. Any other questions for this one? No? All right. We'll go ahead. I'll give you guys 2 minutes to do this one, and yeah. All right, I guess I'll do this question now. So first thing you have to know in this question is the statement that the sum of the parameter and the base of the box and the height of the box cannot exceed 130. So you have P plus H is less than or equal to 130, where P is the parameter. So parameter is the length and width of the box, right? So you have 2L plus 2W because that it's a rectangle, first of all, and of the base. So like you have a rectangle, so you have 2L plus 2W because that's the length and the width of them, plus H because P is just this, less than or equal to 130. And now we know that H is 60 because that's what it says here. And length is 2 times the width. So you replace the length with 2 times 2, I think it's 2.5 times W plus 2W plus 60 as less than or equal to 130. And then you just simplify this. So you got what, 5W plus 2W plus 60 is less than or equal to 130. You subtract 60 here, 60 here, and you get 7W less than or equal to 70, and W is less than or equal to 10. Also, we also know that measurements can't be negative, therefore W has to be greater than or equal to 0. And with this, you can say that 0 is greater than equal to, well, not even equal to, because measurements can't be 0. Is W is greater than is less than or equal to 10. And in this case, they used X instead of W, so you can just change this to X, and A is the answer. All right, any questions? Oh, what do you mean by what about the base?
So it mentioned the sum of the perimeter of the base of the box and the height of the box. So you mentioned the height and the perimeter, but not the base. Or did you include that in?
That was in the explanation. I don't think you heard. I'll rewrite this all again, 1 sec. All right, so first thing we do is we know that the perimeter plus the height can't be more than 130. So that is our first equation. We know that the perimeter is equals to 2 length plus 2 width, because that is how you calculate the perimeter for a rectangle. So you know you can just plug in this into here. So 2L plus 2W plus H is less than or equal to 130. Now you know that H is 60 because it says, And you know that the length is 2.5 W. So you place L with 2.5 W plus 2W plus 60 is less than or equal to 130. And now you have 5W here because 2.5 times 2 is 5 plus 2W plus 60 is less than or equal to 130. You have 7W, then you subtract 60 on both sides here, is less than or equal to 70, and you have W is less than or equal to 10. Now you also know that measurements can't be equal to 0 or negative, so W has to be greater than 0. And therefore with that, you can get 0 is less than W is less than or equal to 10. And in this case, they use X instead of W, so A is the only answer that matches up with what I just wrote.
Right, but so the base is just like part of the explanation, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So any questions? No? All right. Next one. I'll give you guys a minute to do this one as well. Also, if you guys have any questions, just ask me. Just raise your hand and ask me. All right, I'll give you guys another 30 seconds to do this. All right, so for this question, so first thing you see is that they give you when X is 0 is 3, so you know the y-intercept, y-int is 3, therefore B and D get crossed out immediately. And now you do the slope the slope formula, I guess, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, which means that it's 5 minus 3 over 1 minus 0 is 2 over 1. And with that, you know your slope is 2x, and then you have plus 3 because your y-intercept is 3, and C is what matches that. Any questions? Nikita?
So what I did, would it take less time to I don't know, like kind of the process of elimination, because what I did was first I substituted 0 and 3 for option A, for X and Y in option A, and then I decided that it wasn't the answer, and since 3 has to be positive, I eliminated B and D, and since A is obviously not the answer, that's how I got C. So would process of elimination be quicker than trying to find slope?
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, because you have to do 1.2 x times 3 and all that. I mean, I guess it does work, but this is pretty fast in and of itself. Like you're taking less than 20 seconds to do this on the actual test. Either way works. You can plug in or you can do it. But the problem with SAT questions is sometimes just plugging in just takes a lot longer than actually solving it out. And it's just better to just get used to solving it out.
Okay.
Any other questions? No? All right. Next question. This would be, I guess, like a fill in the blank question. Not really even fill in the blank. It's just box, or you have to get the question without any multiple choice, without any choices. You just have to solve for the answer. And also, I'm pretty sure this is a calculator question. So yeah. Give you guys another 30 seconds to do this. All right, so for this question, what we're given is the truck is overall okay, so the limit for a truck to be the limit of a weight of the truck is 6,000. So you have something less than or equal to 6,000, and then you have a delivery truck, so weight of truck I'll say is Z plus 14 boxes X plus driver, which I'll say is like Y, is less than or equal to 6,000. You know the combined weight of the empty delivery truck and the driver is 4.5K. So Z and Y combined is 4.5K, 4,500 plus 14X is less than or equal to 6,000. And then now what you have to do is you subtract 4,500 is 14X less than or equal to, I think, 1,500. And then you divide by 14. And you should get something like X is less than or equal to 107.14. This is a calculator for question for sure, simply because you have to calculate what 1,500 divided by 14 is. And because you know a box, you know the weight of a, I mean, so there just isn't that many spaces to put an answer in. So you just round this to you round this down. So you have X is less than or equal to 107 as your answer. Right? Any questions? Roshan?
It should be less than, right? Because like it's saying keep the boxes below the bridge's posted weight limit, so it should be less than 6,000. So therefore it will be X is less than 107, and then the maximum boxes will be 106.
No, it's less than 107.14. Therefore, X can be 107. I wrote this wrong.
Oh, okay.
No, you don't have to put in the units. The SAT doesn't ask you for units. You just have to put in a number. All right. Any other questions for this question? If not, we have one more question, and then I'll tell you guys what you have to do for this week, and I'll just leave some more times for questions, I guess. All right, last question. This should be, I think, well, not really even. I don't know why I labeled it a challenge question, but this is, I guess, relatively the hardest question if you don't know what you're doing. Also, for the person who said it has to be less than just that, rather than less than or equal to, for the previous question, it is less than or equal to simply because that's how it was the entire time. The equation itself just said less than or equal to, and you don't just like suddenly just like take it out, because the weight of the truck and everything in it has to be less than or equal to 6,000. And yeah, you
can keep it below the weight, right? So that's why it should be less than.
no, it can be exactly 107.14. However, there just isn't that many spaces to put in the answer, so you round down. You never round up.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And one's also closer to 7 than 8. So
Yeah. No, even if it is like 107.99999, you still have to round it down simply because that's the maximum possible weight. You can't go over that.
oh yeah, you're right.
I'll give you guys another 30 seconds to do this. No, if the answer is 1.107.99999, how many ever nines you have, you can't put it as 108 simply because that's over the weight limit. It says below. So you can have an answer below it, but you can't have an answer above it. And then the only reason we don't put in 107.99999 infinitely is because there just isn't enough space to like put the answer in. All right, I'll do this question now. So first thing we know is A and B, right? So we can replace Y with B and A with X simply because that's the coordinate here. And you want B to be the greatest possible. So you want it to be 5X because that's the greatest possible value for B. So you can replace this. You can make this 5X is less than or equal to negative 15, I guess. One sec. Negative 15A, I think. Yeah, A plus. Wait, no, I did that wrong. Second. One second. Trying to figure out how to explain this correctly without just jumping to the answer. So yeah, wait, I said that wrong. You don't immediately replace these. You just make these, you just keep this as X. So this stays at X, this stays at X. You don't immediately just switch this. So, or not even B, just A here. A plus 3,000. Forget what I said just now. So 5A is less than or equal to negative 15A plus 3,000. And yeah, so you basically isolate for A. So plus 15, so 20. A is less than or equal to 3,000. You divide by 20. You get A is less than or equal to 150, but that's not what it's asking. So asking what B is. So you can just plug in A, which is X in this case, into this bottom equation. So you get Y is less than or equal to 150 times 5 is 750. And that is your answer because you want the maximum possible value. Any questions? I mean, I guess it is a little bit of a challenge question because if you don't immediately understand the fact that like you're trying to go for the maximum possible value of B, you can get confused and get this question wrong.
I got X equals 750.
Yes, that is the answer.
Okay.
No, it's B. B is 750. That is the answer. Or wait, no, wait, did you say X equals 750?
I said X, yeah.
How did you get X in here? Because that shouldn't be it. It's Y is less than or equal to 750, and you want the maximum possible value of B, and Y is B in this case. So you want 750.
Oh, I got X is less than or equal to 750. That's what I got.
Huh. I'm not entirely sure how you got it. So for the person who's asking how do you know what you're putting in for A or B? Like right over here, up here, it says A comma B, and B is your Y. This is Y, this is X. And that's how you know what B and A is. Karen? Karen?
Yeah, I don't know if I'm wrong or if I just noticed this, but I know so you kept A as 150. I mean, sorry, B as 150 when you divided 3,000 by 20.
No, when I divided 3,000 by 20, so the
No,
150.
Actually, that's my mistake. I thought it was 3,000 divided by 2. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, now I understand why I got it incorrect. Actually, it's actually correct. So basically, when I subtracted the x value, I replaced the y with the x. It just confused myself. So I put 4x is less than or equal to 3,000, so 4y is less than or equal to 3,000.
4y. Huh? What? I mean, if you get the answer at the end, I guess that's a way of doing it.
Can I solve this?
Go ahead. I'll clear it. So you multiplied by 3 and then you just, I guess, eliminated stuff.
Yeah.
2y equals to 3,000. Yeah, that works, I guess. $750, yeah. Well, no, wait. That's still wrong. That's 1,500.
Okay.
I know what you did wrong. Actually, no, wait, no.
Yeah, 3,000 divided by 4 is 750.
Yeah, divided by 4. Yeah, you put it into, okay, yeah.
Yeah, and then 750 times, okay, yeah.
You did it a different way. I guess that confused you. I mean, this is a pretty weird problem. Karen, do you still have a question? If not, can you lower your hand? I unmuted you. You do. Okay. Sriram?
In your work before, where did you get the 5 from when you said 5a is less than or equal to negative 15?
Here, I'll redo all this work because I don't entirely remember where my 5 is. Okay. So I shouldn't have substituted a and b in the first place. So yeah, you have this, you have these equations, right? And you want y to be its maximum, so 5x here. You want this to go here because that is its maximum value. So you have 5x is less than or equal to negative 15x plus 3,000. You add 15x. You have 20x less than or equal to 3,000. Divide by 20. X 20. And you get x is less than or equal to 750. No, wait, no, 150. No, wait. Yeah, no, it's 150. 150. And then you plug in 150 into x here. So you get y is less than 5 times 150. And that is y is less than 750. And you want 750 because that's your maximum value of b. Your y is your b and your x is your a.
Thank you.
Pardu?
I used the elimination method in this.
That's how,
substitute.
yeah, that's how the other person did it as well. I guess that confused me a little bit, but like that also works.
Yeah, I just multiplied the bottom part by -3, and I just added them.
Multiply by, no, you multiply by 3. You don't multiply by -3.
Well, I mean, I had to cancel out a different way, but I got 750.
Yeah, then that should work. All right. Anyone else have any questions? So to the person who asked how was I able to plug in 5x to the y, because we want the greatest value of y was that because that's y is b and you want the greatest possible value of b, and the greatest possible value of y is 5x. So you plug in the y, you plug in 5x instead of y at the top equation, and then from there you just solve for x, and then you plug in x to the bottom equation. So for the person who asked how much longer is class, I'll be like another 1 to 2 minutes. It should be it. This is the last question, and then I'll tell you guys what to do next class, and then I'll stay for questions if anyone has them. All right. So yeah, what you guys need to do for next class is just look at some reading English passages for reading, and we'll cover literary narrative passages and general grammar rules needed for the SAT. And that's it, really. If you guys have any questions, I'll stay here to answer them. Otherwise, you guys are free to go.